These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, July 17th. Plenty of Celtics news to discuss, although it is starting to become the dead season.
Plenty.
Again. we got a decent show sheet. We got a decent show sheet here.
Rule.
Especially considering the fact that Summer League's over. I mean, just wait till we get into August. This sheet's gonna say, Jayson Tatum went to the Bahamas or something. That's what we're gonna be talking about.
Me doubting that there is plenty of news to talk about is the best possible way to just get somebody to continue watching this video and listening to this show.
Right? Sam's turning them away. I mean, remember when we were throwback to 2020 when Sam and I titled the show talking about what the people were eating in the bubble. We talked about the food. This was before they even were allowed out of their rooms. They were quarantined, and we were just like, I forget who it was. Who even posted it on their story? Contavious Cowboy Pope maybe posted on his story. I can't even remember that far. I'd have to go look at the show.
I don't remember.
Anyways, regardless, we do actually have some Celtics news to talk about, and I say Summer League is over, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Ricky O'Donnell, I believe, of SB Nation, put out an article today ranking the top 11 rookies from Summer League based on their performances. And Celtics standout Jordan Walsh made the list at number 5, the 5th best rookie in Summer League. Those ahead of him include Keontae George of the Utah Jazz, Victor Wembanyama of, obviously, the Spurs, Cam Whitmore of the Rockets, who just won Summer League MVP, which we can talk about later, but that's really funny, Scoot Henderson of the Blazers, and then Mr. Jordan Walsh of the Celtics, ranked above the Thompson twins, Hunter Tyson, Leonard Miller, Kobe Brown, Colin Castleton, all who also made the list. But a great Summer League for Jordan Walsh. Obviously, we've talked about it in depth, but I just thought it was fun. And a cool thing that he made this list of the top rookies. Talked about his size and defense, the offense being surprising. I can pull up his Summer League stats as well really quick. But just a great overall Summer League for the rookie, especially when coming in, we expected to see, okay, maybe the offense won't be there, but at least he'll play well on defense. But he led the team in scoring, 16 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and a steal a game on 42% shooting from the field and 40.7% shooting from deep on 5.5 attempts a game, roughly. Great Summer League for him. Cool to see him make this list with the rookies.
Yeah. Is Jordan Walsh the beneficiary of the big market bump here? Seriously,
No,
there's been a ton
so.
of Jordan Walsh talk nationwide, not just amongst, Celtics-based outlets, us, the other podcasts, whatever, newspapers around here. He has been turning heads all over. He had an impressive campaign. To be top 5 on this list is pretty impressive. Is it because of the expectations being so low? Is it because he performed so far above what everyone was thinking they were going to see from him? Because the two of us were very much pleasantly surprised, right? You said it. We thought we were going to see him do a lot of role player stuff, which we did, but he was also trying to create shots for himself at times and did it successfully. Came out in that first game, drilled a bunch of threes. He looked awesome. It's good for him. Definitely plays hard. He looks like he's physically able to hang with NBA level competition. Another bonus, the wingspan is there. It's going to be something to keep your eyes on as we look ahead to what the next thing we should all care about. Preseason comes around.
Woo!
That's going to be an exciting storyline for that. We're like, okay,
Definitely.
Now he's playing real NBA players. He's playing with the real guys on the team. What's going to happen now? How's he going to fit? It's only 2 months away, if that.
Yeah.
Right? Or no. No, early October. So
yeah.
Well, take me to the shed.
That's almost 2 months away. No. I forgot September was a month. It's been a long day.
We should get rid of September.
I agree.
Kat,
September.
Let us know if you want to get rid of September, even though it has maybe the best song of all the months.
I was gonna make a really corny joke and say "Wake me up when it's over." But
multiple songs about September. Yeah,
there are.
I wasn't even thinking of that one. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
21st Night, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Good song month. Anyways, Jordan Walsh. Our brains are fried. Jordan Walsh, great Summer League. fun to see what he can do. I do think the defense is probably a big reason why he made this list, because obviously the offense was a surprise, but you also saw the energy that he brings on defense. That's what like everyone was talking about when he was drafted, but to see it in full effect, like Jordan Walsh treated summer league like the playoffs, which is like as much as you want to joke about it being like
And then they
funny
didn't
that
make
he's
the
trying
Summer League
super hard.
playoffs.
I know, but the energy
That's the
level
Pat
is
Bev
there.
meme on the scores table.
But like the fact that he was willing to put that much energy and effort into a summer league contest, I think bodes well for the Celtics moving forward in terms of having a guy who'll put his body on the line for the team, which is something that they kind of traded away this summer. So maybe they can add somebody else in the lineup in Jordan Walsh who'll be willing to do that. So nice to see him make that list with all the other rookies. And thanks to Ricky O'Donnell for giving us content in the depths of July. We appreciate you very much. Next thing we have Sam's least favorite person in the NBA. Would you say LeBron is your least favorite person in the NBA?
It's funny. I have like 3 or 4 guys that are just like right there where I'm just sick of them, but for different reasons. Like obviously Kyrie's a rat and he did the Celtics dirty or whatever.
Sure.
LeBron is just consistently there trying to make people talk about him. And here we are, suckers, taking the bait because it's July 17th and we have nothing to talk to you about. So
LeBron is changing his number to 23 because he was wearing 6 last season, and
back to
honor
23, by the way.
Yeah, he changed it back to
because he wanted the attention a couple years ago. And now he's seeking more attention.
It's LeBron's decision, said Rich Paul of Clutch Sports. He chose it out of respect for Bill Russell. And Sam's notes on the sheet, by the way, just for an in-depth look at how we record. He's not retiring either. Who could have guessed? And then please talk about me in quotes from Sam. But LeBron changing his number back to 23 to honor Bill Russell. And I put this on here specifically because I knew it would upset you. I need you to know that.
To honor Bill Russell, parentheses, have people talk about me again.
Yeah, sure. Thoughts, Sam? Don't care.
Sure. He could have did this last year.
This is true.
But if he cared that much, he would have did it last year. That's my take.
Yeah,
the whole league
maybe
retired the number before last season. There were plenty of players that switched off of it.
I wonder. I don't think a ton of people switched off of it because there were a lot of people still wearing 6, and I question how much. And I'm not defending LeBron specifically, just like in the general scheme of things. Like I know there was a deadline to change numbers a couple seasons ago because the whole thing, like LaMelo wanted to change to 1, but he didn't get the 4 in time, so he had to wear 2 for a second season. So I wonder. I don't know what the date was last year, but I wonder if that came past it because like for jersey sales and production and stuff like that. And for what it's worth, players who wore 6 last season: LeBron, Alex Caruso, Kristaps, Lou Will, Lance Stevenson, Alexander Walker, Hami Diallo, Bryn Forbes, Quentin Grimes, Jalen McDaniels, Jordan McLaughlin, Kenny Martin, Moses Brown, David Duke, Melvin Frazier, Keon Johnson. So
yes,
there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are wearing it still.
But I wonder if they're all going to start changing it now.
Maybe. I mean, Kristaps has already technically changed it, even though it wasn't like.
He didn't really have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was he going to do? Show up to the Auerbach Center? Hey, can I wear 6?
Imagine.
Imagine
the scenes.
After all like the social activism Bill Russell was a part of, they give his number away to him.
Did he wear it last year?
Yeah, he wore it in Washington.
Okay. I know he wore it when he got traded there, wasn't he? I wasn't sure if he changed it after. No, you're right. Yeah, he's always worn 6, but
yeah,
he's going to 8 now, right? He moved to 8.
Yeah, he just goes to Brad. Hey, can I wear Bill Russell's number?
He gets traded back. They rescind the trade. See you later. But yeah, LeBron James changing it
Didn't like the physicals.
Yeah,
that's the report we get.
But you don't care about LeBron changing it. Not a fan. Doesn't matter to you.
No, I wouldn't have brought it up.
All right. Well, we
care.
can move on then. And we're going to thank another kind soul for giving us content in the dead season. Harris Rubenstein, who writes for CelticsBlog, is also an NBA 2K League announcer, which is kind of sick.
Is this a new
shout out to him.
edition?
No, he's been there. He's been there for a while. Harris Rubenstein wrote up an article, a dream roster around Jayson Tatum using Celtics legends. And I just thought it was cool.
Fun
I
concept.
wanted to talk about it. And it's so cool that we're putting it in the title of the episode. So thank you, Harris. We appreciate you for letting us steal this content. But go read the article. He gives all of his explanations and stuff in the article on CelticsBlog. It was, I want to get the title right just so people can find it. It was titled Building a dream roster of Celtics legends around Jayson Tatum. So obviously Jayson Tatum's going to be at the center of it, and he made a team around them. So we'll start at the point guard position. He had Dennis Johnson at the point guard, with honorable mentions going to Rajon Rondo and Marcus Smart. Thoughts on the point guard position? We'll go one by one here.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I can see why Rondo might not be the number one choice because of his necessity to have the ball.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. You literally had Smart. DJ's an interesting choice. Great defender. Has the size. Played on so many great teams for the Celtics. Won a title with Seattle before he got there.
Mm-hmm.
The question mark comes with the shooting.
Yeah.
I think this whole list is going to be a place where I'm just like, wow, like they're not
shoot?
talking about shooting with these guys. They need to be able to shoot. Tatum needs the floor space. Blah blah blah. It works. The Celtics have oddly enough had a ton of great point guards play for the organization throughout the years.
Yeah, they've had plenty.
Even in like the recent years, like Kyrie's a rat or whatever, but he's still like very good player, excellent. If you want to talk about LeBron, he had a little bit of a circle jerk for Kyrie this week too. And of course, Rondo, Isaiah Thomas. Then you go back a bit. You had DJ. You had Tiny Archibald. You had Bob Cousy. In between, Kenny Anderson, little
JoJo White.
JoJo White. Yep. Lots to pick from. Smart makes the cut.
Yeah, that's big. Smart making the cuts. Crazy, but I
Jersey
respect
hangs high behind me still.
You can see that Harris went with let's get a defender at the point guard position, which I like.
Yes,
I like. Would you have leaned in more with a Bob Cousy or a JoJo White or a Tiny Archibald instead?
I don't know. I didn't get to see them play.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I don't hate the Dennis Johnson pick. I think it's a good pick. I think the defense is huge. So I don't know. In his defense, Harris does mention there weren't shooting a ton of threes in '86, and I feel like Dennis Johnson might be a better 3-point shooter now than he got the chance to be back then, which is fair. But Sam's looking for 3-point shooting at the shooting guard position. We do have Mr. Ray Allen, who I know you're not a huge fan of. And then his honorable mentions are Sam Jones and Jaylen Brown. But I mean, if you're going to put shooting around Jayson Tatum, you'd be hard pressed to find
this is a good group shooter for it. All three of them.
Yeah.
They didn't have the
really
3-point line back in the day when Sam Jones was playing, but by all accounts, he was an excellent jump shooter.
Imagine Harris just goes full defense, puts Tony Allen at the 2, says, sorry, Tatum, you're not getting any spacing, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Ray Allen.
Tatum get ready to play high-low with a pair of guards.
No, I think Ray Allen is probably the best pick you could have gone with here. Obviously, Sam Jones, Jaylen Brown, both would have been fine picks as well, but like the shooting of Ray Allen, that's just real hard to pass up at this point.
He probably would have been a better shooter in today's league, just with the volume that they take and the amount
crazy.
of leeway shooters get where they can get touched and get to the free throw line.
Yeah,
like all that stuff.
That's crazy to think about too. Yeah.
So
do you agree with the pick?
I agree with it.
Okay. Obviously, small forward is Jayson Tatum, so there's no honorable mentions or anything. Power forward Larry Bird. Honorable mentions Kevin Garnett, Al Horford.
Yeah, I mean Bird's best of the 3. Probably the best player to ever play for the team. Has to be on the team somehow.
And then center Bill Russell, Kevin Garnett, Bill Walton as the honorable mentions. My question is, if you got to ignore positions, would you change this?
Maybe I slide Tatum to the shooting guard and move Bird to small forward and put Garnett in, or McHale
or Pierce.
Yeah. But I don't really know if like you lose Bill Russell, like you're not dropping the center spot. It is funny.
That's
like
not what I'm saying.
Some of the mentions on this list though, like no McHale, Horford instead, no Robert Parrish, Walton on the list instead as the backup. Now I don't think this is prime. This is when they were on the Celtics, right? I would have to.
I assume so, and I feel like Horford, a part of that is for the shooting. You'd have because the floor spacing is important.
Bill Walton, a great passer.
Yes, if you want to get real crazy, you could run point Tatum and then get a bunch of guys in there, get KG and Pierce on the team if you really wanted to.
That would be nuts.
But that would be maybe going a little bit too far. But I think it's a good team. You roll out a starting lineup of Dennis Johnson, Ray Allen, Jayson Tatum, Larry Bird, Bill Russell. How many games you win? 60? I think you get up to 60. I mean that's just
I hope
that's
so.
an obscene lineup. Yeah. I would hope so. If you could choose,
it's just the Bleacher Report, like who's beating these guys.
Yeah.
Who's stopping
That's the
them?
curse,
Sorry.
though. That's the curse. Okay, if you had to pick a 6-man, any Celtics player, but it has to be a 6-man. Like you can't put Pierce as the 6-man.
Oh,
like it has to
okay.
be a genuine.
Well,
like they
Havlicek
came off the
won
bench.
6
Okay,
Man of
yeah.
the year. Or actually, the award's named after him. Or McHale. He won back-to-back.
Those would be
Cool.
probably pretty good choices. Yeah,
My answer's
Havlicek probably. Havlicek never won 6-man of the year. Are you lying to me?
I think he still came off the bench. And
okay,
the award is named
you're
after
right.
him.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Just fucking around. All right. Yeah, I like it. I like the group. Thank you again to Harris for providing us with the content. We're getting into it. But next up, we have Sam's favorite topic in the world, Damian
Yours
Lillard.
too. We're both over it.
We have to do it though. Like Bleacher Report dropped an article called One Trade for Every Team. They just made up a trade for every team because they also understand that it's July. And it was by the staff, and so it was different writers for each one. Obviously, in a recent video, which if you haven't watched, go check it out now, we looked at some potential trades for the Celtics, written by, who was it? Was it Buckley or Swartz who wrote it?
It was Buckley.
I think it was Zach Buckley who wrote it. Bleacher Report legend. And we did not, spoiler alert, we're not a fan of the Dame packages. However, Dan Favale wrote up another Dame package for the Celtics, and I don't hate it. I don't know if I would do it, but I think it's a lot better than the other ones. Now, it would be Malcolm Brogdon, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Peyton Pritchard, Robert Williams, Golden State's 2024 first, a 2025 first, a 2027 first, and a 2029 first with top 5 protections on it. It's a lot of firsts, but you keep Jalen, you keep Kristaps, you keep Derek White, you keep Al Horford, you keep Brissett at this point, you keep Jordan Walsh as well, who was in the other deal. It's one of the more favorable Dame trades that I've seen. Would I do it? Still probably no, but it's all right. I don't hate it.
I will say they had me when I was reading the article. I was going through it. I was like, oh, like Brogdon, Hauser, Cornett, Pritchard. Like you're speaking my language. Yeah, and they snuck Rob in there. I was like, oh, there it is. And then you have the zillion first-round picks, which I've said time and time again I have a problem with because Dame's going to be 36, making $63 million. It may handicap you from being competitive by then. The counter to that is that in this scenario, they would still have Brown and Tatum. So you'd have to imagine the team is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not as risky to give up all those picks, but at the same time, why do all this if you can compete with the roster you have without giving up anything? You know,
I agree.
You've already made your big swing. The more time goes on and on, I'm more and more out on the Dame trade just because what you're going to have to give up is outrageous. The only way you can really justify it is if you wanted to give up Jaylen Brown. And even then, it's like, really, you want to pay Dame more money? Like you have to pay either one of them up the ass. You'd rather pay an aging Dame than a Jaylen Brown supposedly going to be in his peak? Mm-hmm. Why?
I will say, this isn't meant as a slight. This is meant as like sick. When we started this podcast, I remember Sam was like, trade all the picks. Who cares about the picks? Fuck picks. And like now you're realizing the contracts and a 36-year-old Dame, you're like, keep the picks. We don't need that.
It's different now.
I know.
With the new CBA, it's a lot different. Like even maybe last year, I would have told you, screw all the picks, just keep them. I mean, get rid of them, like unload. Like, but now it's like you can't overpay for guys. Like it's more punishment. You get screwed with what moves you're able to make. Teams are very fearful of it, at least for now. Why would you handicap yourself from getting cheaper players?
Yeah.
By trading for a guy that's aging out. I just don't get it.
I agree with you. I'd be curious. I don't know if anybody wants to listen back. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but I wonder what some of our trade like ideas or thoughts were back in the day. I know we were big on Derrick Rose.
Maybe that'll be a reacts.
You'll have to go dig deep. But yeah, Dame, also another Dame thing came out. Evan Turner, former Celtic and former teammate of Dame, spoke about it. Who did he talk
Celtic
to?
great.
Did an interview with the Schmo.
Is Evan Turner the best
said,
number 11 ever?
Potentially.
Serious question.
The best 11 in Celtics history?
Chat,
Is that what you're asking?
comments, let us know.
Let's see. Can I Google that? Is that a Googleable
just
question?
Off the top of like your head, who's the best?
Well, I mean,
all not just game included, like most highly regarded by fans. It has to be Big Baby, Evan Turner,
Dana Barros for it. I just Googled.
Dana Barros is a good one because he's from around here. I feel like he's probably number one. Actually,
it'd probably be Dana Barros. Yeah. Definitely not.
Unless we're just
freedom.
Obviously missing somebody. Which
I don't think we are. I just Googled. I don't think we are. Yeah, no, it's got to be Dana Barros. Okay, I have a full list here. Sorry, we're going to rabbit hole. Chuck Connors, Stan
Cooper.
Nazca, Chick Halbert, Tony Lavelli, Chuck Cooper, yes, Mel Counts, Jim Barnett, Mel Graham, Steve Kaburski, Charlie Scott, Bob McAdoo, Tracy Jackson, Sam Vincent,
wow,
Dirk Minifield,
like
Michael
I was
Smith
for it, but I'm aware.
I don't even know. I don't remember the mess.
He hated playing for the Celtics. Nick Gelso.
Stoico Vranovich, Dana Barros, Randy Brown, Shamond Williams, Mark Bryant, Marcus Banks, Glenn Davis, Sasha Pavlovich, Courtney Lee, Jared Bayless, Evan Turner, Kyrie Irving, Ennis Freedom, Peyton Pritchard. There you go. Full list. Anyways, Evan Turner said about Dame, I think what makes the most sense is I'm a big Boston Celtics fan, so I want to see him go to Boston. One thing I really want to see for Dame is being able to display his talent. One big stage, just like International Fight Week, playoff time is a big stage to showcase talent in the NBA. I think the past couple of years having a playoff run without Dame, we really missed out on some great games and some moments where we're talking about his legacy and his greatness. Pitching Dame to the Celtics, even though Dame has said that he doesn't want to go to Boston.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to be here, there's no point, right? But I do think the Evan Turner angle here is interesting because Evan Turner played for Philly, he played for Indiana, he played for the Celtics, played for Portland, Atlanta. He was at for a bit, and I want to say Minnesota. He wrapped his career with.
I think he did play in Minnesota. Let me Google see if he missed anything.
But
Evan Turner
of all those places, he remembers the Celtics most fondly.
Yeah.
Did I get the rest?
Good.
I didn't miss any teams, did I?
No, but he didn't play for Minnesota. He wrapped at Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, and he remembers the Celtics most fondly. If I had one question for him, that's what I would ask. Why? Is it because they were successful with him? Probably. Mm-hmm. Right. He didn't make the playoffs with Philly. He made him once. Played twice. When Derrick Rose hurt himself, which was the same year they played the Celtics.
Yeah. He actually made the playoffs with every single team he played for except for Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, and they never even got to the first round when he was on the Celtics. Isn't that funny?
No, he did not. Yeah.
But he enjoyed it the most.
Cool to see.
As far as Dame goes, no, I don't want him on the Celtics. The price is too high. There's going to be a lot of feet dragging, moaning. The paycheck's big. All of the above. Just not great. Not what you really want.
Yeah, I agree. Evan Turner, come on the show. Join us. We'll have a good time. This is our pitch. We got to ask. Next thing. Some rumblings about the Celtics potentially playing more zone defense next year. This is random. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it. But Tony Dobbins, who coached the Summer League team, spoke to Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe. Celtics were playing zone in Summer League a decent amount. They said, we definitely want to see what it looks like, and we want to teach it. If you're going to play zone, what are your core principles and values, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a great debate in the NBA, and he's talked about how the Celtics have the personnel to potentially play zone. This is the classic. O'Shea Brissett kills the Celtics. They sign O'Shea Brissett. The zone kills the Celtics. They want to play more.
They sign the zone. They pay for exclusive rights to playing the zone, which would be a worthy investment. Make no mistake.
Absolutely.
I would do anything to see a league where nobody can play the zone against Celtics. They'd be nasty. They would have just won a title probably.
They'd be phenomenal. They would have won multiple, I'd say, yes.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Celtics playing more zone? Do you care about the zone thing?
I think it's an interesting concept here. I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but I can see why they need to start kind of playing with the idea because Smart's not on the team anymore. And you might say, Sam, you're just like a Smart fanboy, which could be fair. But at the same time, there is real evidence where in the playoffs, Derek White's getting targeted in switches. Not because he's not a good defender, but he's just quite simply not strong enough to compete with some of these bigger guys.
Mhm.
Okay, if the Celtics are going to continue to switch everything, you have to have some sort of backup for when it doesn't work. Just like I always say, when they don't make the threes, they got to do something else. Okay, if Derek White's going to get targeted in a switch, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to do in the chances where Al Horford is getting targeted in a pick and roll? Now the Porzingis a bit different. But going back to the playoffs last year, where you saw a bunch of issues with the Celtics defense, which hadn't been an issue in years past. Now it's like, okay, how can they fight this? How can they counter when teams just want to be bullies, and pick on you? This is one solution.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like it for the Celtics. I think they do have the talent to play it. I think it could be intriguing. I mean, obviously I made a joke like, oh, they saw it beat them, so why don't they do it? But realistically, if the Heat can do that, the Celtics definitely have the personnel to do it at the very least with Jayson Tatum, Kristaps, Al Horford, even Jordan Walsh, Jalen, Derek White, Brogdon. Like, they've got a long team, so they should be able to do something fun with that. Now, next thing we have, if anybody is familiar with dropping dimes on Twitter, they label themselves as the amateur NBA analyst. They've gotten banned off of Twitter multiple times for seemingly just predicting trades that Woj and Shams are on. And they get a lot of followers. His bio is currently banned at 46K or something crazy. But he's back. And he made a tweet about the Celtics.
Question before you go.
Yes.
Off the top of your head, do you know of the instances where this person was correct?
Not off the top of my head, but I know there have been multiple.
I'm just curious because I want, as the dumb guy in the room, I was up until recently not aware of this guy or whoever it may be. Not to say the ladies.
He said Gabe Vincent. Oh, he has a whole thing. Gabe Vincent, Lakers. Bruce Brown to Pacers. Kings contract extension for Sabonis. Cam Johnson staying. Rockets are going to spend the most. Kyrie Irving stays. Ref saving Lakers as usual. And this was in February.
This guy knows ball.
Mavs are closing a deal with Kyrie.
Okay.
That was in 2022. He tweeted that. So he was way ahead of it. But he beat Shams on the Gabe Vincent Lakers thing.
Which was not like a...
And that was like by
thing.
He didn't like beat him by like guessing it. He beat him by like a minute. So like he got, you know what I'm saying? Like anyways, take this with a huge grain of salt. This is obviously not actual reporting. However, I think it's funny. I think it's interesting. So it's eyes emoji. He said Celtics have called about OG Anunoby, but trade talks with Raptors have stalled recently. Sam and I have talked about the idea of landing OG Anunoby. I've messaged with longtime viewer It's Gear on Twitter when he sent me, I think did he send me this exact tweet? He sent me something about OG Anunoby being a trade target. And my point is I replied to him and I said, OG Anunoby is my dream trade target. And I stand by that. No, he sent me on July 11th, dropping dimes, tweeted, Celtics are very active in the market for a wing. And It's Gear texted me, I bet it's Bay, but imagine they are looking at OG. So maybe the real dropping dimes is It's Gear with the big brain. But I think OG on the Celtics would be phenomenal. The question is, and this was the debate in the comments, what would you give up? What would the Raptors want? It would probably be like Brogdon, Pritchard, and picks, or Brogdon picks or something, which at that point, like, it's probably not worth it for the Raptors. But if there's rumblings or speculation, we'll call it at the very least, I love OG Anunoby. I think it'd be sick.
The contract lines up with Brogdon, for starters.
Yeah.
So you're not losing any years off your quote-unquote timeline. You're getting a guy that's versatile. He plays a great role where he can defend, he can shoot threes. In last season, he had such a good season where he was scoring everywhere, not just from the three-point line. He was able to go into the bag, as they say, right? Put the ball in the basket a bit, and he made all defense. So OG coming off a great season, you'd be buying high. Understandably so, the Raptors do not want to sell him for nothing.
Yeah.
And Ujiri is known to play hardball, so good luck getting any kind of favorable deal in that situation. Not to mention the Celtics are in the same division as Toronto, so I would imagine they don't want to play him 4 times a year, every year.
Probably. Anunoby also led the league in steals at 128 steals last year, so pretty good. Pretty good in that aspect. But I just thought that was interesting. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It's not actually reporting, but I thought it was interesting. Before we get into our final topic, I wanted to bring up something just very briefly. The Spurs waived Lamar Stevens.
Was going to suggest this actually.
I tweeted out, or I asked Mike Cadlick, who is a Patriots guy for WEI, legend, CLNS guy as well back in the day, for the Squidward memes he tweets whenever someone gets released or there's a free agent, and it's Squidward pointing and saying Celtics, and I tweeted that out with Lamar Stevens because if the Celtics need to fill the 15th spot, Lamar Stevens.
Blake Griffin.
No. Get out of here. Lamar Stevens. I like Lamar Stevens a lot. He's 6'6". He's a solid wing. He can play up at the power forward a little bit too. He's not the best 3-point shooter. Shot only 31.6% last year, but only attempted 1.5 a game. 5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 3.3 rebounds in 18 minutes. He's not like this crazy talented guy, but he hustles. He plays solid defense, and he's a great rebounder. I would gladly take him on the Celtics for the 15th spot. I just think if you're going to fill that spot, you need to fill it with somebody who will do all the little things, especially on the defensive end. And I think Lamar Stevens does that.
Okay.
And he's only 26. So he's like
26 years old.
A super veteran.
Same age as Jalen. We forget that these guys are old now.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
The question is, why is San Antonio waiving him if he's valuable?
I think because they have to. They have 17 guys on the roster.
Okay.
So they can't have him. They need to waive somebody else actually too. And then more if they want to bring in Barlow. If I had to guess right now, Spurs roster Spotrac. Well, the Spurs, I mean, we don't have to get too deep into this, but I cover the Spurs for USA Today. The Spurs are in a weird spot because before the Lamar Stevens, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 guys on the roster before Lamar Stevens. Now they have 17. They have Kem Birch on the roster. Feels like he's probably going to get the boot. Feels like he's probably going to get waived. But past that, like you're talking, do they waive Campaign? Do they waive Chetty Osman? Do they waive like a young guy like Charles Bassey who just had a solid season for them? Like there's a lot, like there could be a tough decision. And then past that, Dominic Barlow, who just wrapped up a great summer league where he averaged a double-double and over a block a game, isn't under contract. He's a restricted free agent. So they have some serious decisions to make. Romeo Langford looks like he's not going to be back in San Antonio. Celtics guy there. It feels like Kem Birch is next. And then after that, it might be do we buy out Devontae Graham or try to dump him or somewhere? Like they've got some decisions to make. Charles Bassey might be another one who could get the boot because they already have Zach Collins. And they just re-signed Sandro Mamukelashvili, who's another center. So it feels like Charles Bassey and Devontae Graham and Kem Birch could be out. Dominic Barlow in, and then you tie a knot on the summer league, the offseason bow for the Spurs. But anyways, I just wanted to say I think I like Lamar Stevens in a Celtics uniform. I think that sounds pretty pretty fine by me. All right. Last Celtics thing, which is not really a Celtics thing, but we're making it a Celtics thing. Joel Embiid had some comments. He was at Maverick Carter's event, right? I believe
that's who was talking to him.
Uninterrupted Film Festival with Maverick Carter, who is LeBron's friend. Yeah, effectively. And this was the quote that had Twitter in a headlock. I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about the next one. It's not easy. It takes more than 1 or 2 or 3 guys. Got to have good people around you. Myself, every single day, I work hard to be at that level so I can push to make it happen. Push us to make it happen every single day. That's working towards the goal. That's where my mindset has been. MVP is just an added bonus. And obviously the part everyone was freaking out about is whether that's in Philly or anywhere else.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted at him, you didn't have to add that part. And then he said, look at my middle name. And on Twitter, he is Joel Embiid. So maybe it's just a half a joke, but like,
no, I don't think so.
I feel like there's an undertone of seriousness there with the James Harden stuff going on. Like if I'm Joel Embiid and James Harden gets traded for like nothing, I'm like, I think I just got to go. Like, get me out.
I mean, Embiid's 10 years in now.
That's
Technically,
crazy.
since he's been drafted 10 years. Well,
It's
it'll be
nuts.
10 next summer.
Mm.
But I believe
know
this
what you
is
mean.
going to be his 10th season as a
Mhm.
pro. They haven't gotten over the hump yet. He has never even played in the conference finals. As funny as it sounds, us being Celtics fans, they've been there 5 times in 7 years or whatever it is. Philly is not. Philly has tried a lot of different things with Embiid. Hasn't worked. They had Simmons, then they went to Harden, then they had all the process stuff before they were competitive, and none of it has really worked. The process
1 year
didn't
Jimmy.
get them. Yeah, they had the 1 year with Jimmy where they were actually
Which was
really, really good,
really
and they
good.
probably should have won the title.
Yeah.
They let Jimmy walk, Tobias Harris over me, right?
Woo. Yep.
And now what? Harden wants to be traded. He's maybe pretending to be fat again. What are you going to get back for Harden? Is Philly going to still be able to be competitive with Embiid as their guy right now if Harden asks out? Nobody's giving up a lot for Harden right now. What are you going to get for him?
I think they're still a playoff team. Like, obviously, they'd get something back for Harden, but I think even if you took Harden off that roster, they're still a playoff team. I don't think they're a great playoff team, but I think Maxey could step up. I think other
Do they
guys
win
would be
around?
there. I think they're competitive.
What seed are they first?
I'd say they get like 5 or 6.
Okay. All right. So could they beat the Knicks? Could they beat
the Cavs?
The
Heat? You're getting a question mark there, right? Because
Yeah.
if you look at it in that perspective, it's probably going to be, if they lose Harden, it would probably be Celtics, Bucks, and then Heat or Cavs or whatever is 3, and then you're talking 4, 5, 6, and then 3. That's going to be the Cavs. That's going to be the Celtics. If there are 3 great teams, like if the Celtics win 50 games, 52, 53, 50, whatever games, the Bucks could win that many games. The Cavs could win that many games. The Heat could win that many games. Like, the 3 seed is going to be tough. And so is the 4 seed. We're talking Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Heat, and then the Knicks are there too. If the Sixers lose Harden, can they beat any of those teams in a 7-game series? Maybe, but it's not going to be what they did to Brooklyn this past year.
Definitely
I think it's interesting. And then obviously we put this here and we haven't changed it to the NBA background yet because we want to talk about Joel Embiid in a Celtics uniform, which is something I have been pushing my agenda for a minute.
Me too. What do you mean?
I know.
I was first. I told you years ago he was a great Celtic.
Oh, years ago. Yes. I was talking more in the scope of Jalen. Yes. But years ago, you have always been on the Embiid would be a great Celtic.
I have long been perched above, lying in wait for this day.
If Joel Embiid requests a trade, or if he becomes available via trade, the Celtics might have the best package around the league.
Yeah. See, this is a situation where it's like, ahead, give up Jalen.
It depends on what the Sixers are looking for. If they want to stay competitive with Tyrese Maxey, the Celtics have the best package. If they want to get the best youngish player, the Celtics have the best package. If they want to tear it down, get picks, and just like reset their cap book, I'm not going to say Bradley Beal-esque because they'd obviously get a much better haul. But like if they want sort of, let's just clear the salary, the Celtics wouldn't have as good of a package. And that would probably be like, we'll get into teams for Joel Embiid in the NBA section, but you're talking Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard and picks for Joel Embiid, right? And maybe like another salary filler, whatever you need to do. I'd pull the trigger yesterday. I'd do it
even if you have to throw in, let's say
Brogdon. Yeah, I'd still do it.
Probably
I'd still do
it. Would have liked to do it earlier in the summer though. Even though this is probably not happening this year. Just to clarify.
And it is but it is definitely weirder because of the Porzingis thing.
That too. I kind of forgot about that.
I did too till just now. But if you have the chance to trade for Joel Embiid, you trade for Joel Embiid. And then at that point, Rob becomes expendable. Call me crazy, but he does. And you can trade Rob for another guard. At that point, then you say, okay, we have Joel Embiid, we have Al Horford, we have Kristaps Porzingis. We had to throw Brogdon into the Embiid trade, so we need another guard. What team needs a center? Let me take a look quick. Say
probably literally all of them.
Yeah, any team.
Well, no teams really need a guard. All the teams need they could use an upgraded center, it seems.
Yeah, and I think you could easily find a team that says, okay, we'll take Robert Williams, we'll give you a point guard. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm like trying to do a quick glance and I can't you call the Mavericks and say, hey, Dallas, do you give us a guard and something and some extra depth for Rob? They'd probably jump on it. You call up Utah, they'd probably give you stuff for Rob, right? Like there's plenty of teams that would be willing to give you a decent guard to back somebody up in exchange for Robert Williams, right? So if the cost is Jaylen Brown and picks, make the deal. You make the plus, eyebrow raiser, whatever you want to say this. Jayson Tatum and Joel Embiid have the same agent. They train together. Drew Hanlon seems like they're friends. Hey, man, if Joel Embiid becomes available, Celtics need to be in. They have to be in. They have to be in.
No, I agree. Just to circle back to Rob real quick. Knew we were forgetting something when we planned this show. Rob in the lab. Got a super cool little workout video of Robert Williams working on his craft, the skill-based aspects of basketball, working on his moves down low, taking some jump shots where for years we've seen that he has a little bit of a jumper. He's been somewhat confident in taking those shots when they're there, but it's not something you see very often.
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to see Rob working to be a bit more versatile. People are excited about it on Twitter. That is for sure.
People comparing him to KG is what I've seen.
Because the jumper looks very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. All right. Shall we move on to the NBA section and talk about Embiid in that context?
Turn it blue.
All righty, let's do it. Blue background is here. Now, obviously, we wanted to cover it from the Celtics perspective because this is a Celtics podcast, and we wanted to put it in the title. However, if Joel Embiid were to become available, almost every team around the league would absolutely have to be interested in that trade, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
You have to at least think about it. Maybe not Denver.
That's what I was going to say. The only team that probably wouldn't be in is Denver. I wrote a list of potential teams that could be interested. Earlier this summer, I wrote one Joel Embiid trade for every team. We don't have to go around, or we don't have to go over that. But some teams I included. The Knicks have been heavily rumored to be very in on Joel Embiid, going as far as saying the only player they would trade Randall for is Embiid. But in a more realistic sense, like the Knicks make a ton of sense for a Joel Embiid landing spot. They have the infrastructure, they have the talent, they have RJ Barrett as a trade chip, they have Emmanuel Quickley, they have matching salary, they have all the draft capital. They might have low-key one of the best trade packages for Embiid because of those picks.
They have long been floated as a top destination. Every time Embiid's name gets thrown around as a potential, hey, I'm going to exit soon guy, Knicks fans get rock hard, the photoshops begin, and Embiid's going to be on the Knicks. So it's understandable why they may be amongst these top teams, like you mentioned. If Philly doesn't want competitive players right now, they have a pair of young players and a bunch of picks they can offer. Makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of sense. Another team I listed here, the Heat. And I gave the explanation, fuck Dame, get Embiid instead. And I back that. I think you trade Herro, you trade whatever you want, you trade all those picks, you pair Embiid with Bam and Jimmy, and you roll. And I think that'd be sick for the Heat and annoying for the Celtics.
Bam would be an interesting wrinkle there.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't he? I feel like Bam has to go, and if you're Miami, you're willing to do it.
I disagree. I think you can play them together. I think Embiid has just enough floor spacing where it'd be okay. The offense would definitely be clunky, but like the defense is fine.
Serious
Embiid
question.
can stay in the post. And
not trying to be a
versatile. Sure.
Has Embiid ever succeeded next to another big guy?
I think you've only seen
it
once.
Not him, but has the team been its best while he's playing alongside another big guy?
I think you've only seen it attempted once, and it was with Horford. And I think as much as Horford was versatile and he was like Horford's a great defender, like Bam's probably the best defender in the NBA right now. I would say he's probably the best defender.
He's going to be one of the best, if not.
I think he's probably the most versatile. Like when you think of who can guard 1 through 5, it's Bam Adebayo. He can guard 1 through 5. So having that versatility, Giannis too, sure. But like having that defensive versatility next to Embiid, I think makes it doable. Plus, if you're Miami, it's fucking Joel Embiid. It's the same reason the Celtics would do it even if they have Kristaps Porzingis, right? Like I think it's fine. And I would rather have Bam and Embiid than Herro and Embiid, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't trade Bam for Embiid. Would you trade Bam for Embiid?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Of course you would. I'd trade Porzingis for Embiid, too.
I would. And I would trade Jalen for Embiid, but I think it's different. I think in the case of the Celtics, you can trade Jalen for Embiid because then you're pairing Embiid still with that wing scorer, and you still have a big man. You trade, and you still have like depth at all the positions. I wouldn't trade Bam for Embiid because they don't have the future of the Celtics, if that makes sense. Like Jimmy is how old, and you're paying him how much money, and obviously then you could have Embiid be that future.
Yep.
But even if the Embiid experiment fails in Boston, they still have a future with Tatum and all these like younger players. Like maybe saying I wouldn't do it is too far, but like I don't think it's as snap your fingers easy as Jalen. I also think Bam is better than Jalen. I don't know if you disagree with that, but
I don't know. I think it's tough to compare them directly because they're in
I think they're
positions
the same
and kind of roles.
I think they're the same tier. I think they're the same role. They're both the
They're
twos.
same role. Bam's trying to create shots. He's a role man.
I think that's underselling Bam a little bit.
I mean, there were times in the playoffs when Bam was good, but there were times when he was bad too.
You can say the same for Jalen.
I know. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think they're
I
the
don't
same
know.
tier. They're the same tier of
That's
player. I
fair.
just think Bam's a little better.
That's fair. You know, I don't like the direct.
That's fine. I think you would consider Bam for Embiid, but I don't think you would do it. I think it's obviously better to trade Bam for Embiid than for Lillard. But if I'm the Heat and Embiid becomes available, I say, sorry, Portland, you missed your chance and see you later.
Yeah.
However,
Portland says fine.
However,
We'll take somebody else's package.
If I'm the Heat and I really want to go psycho, Bam for Embiid, Herro and package for Lillard.
Yeah. You get Lillard for free, and then you pay everything for Embiid.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Dame, Butler, Embiid, they'd be title favorites. Absolutely, right?
Yeah. It's not happening.
Especially with the depth. All right. Nets I have. And I have Cam Thomas in picks, but that's more like because they don't really have the young asset
The
to
reset
trade. Like
button.
You could trade Nick Claxton, honestly, if you're the Nets. Like you trade Claxton, you trade Cam Thomas, you trade whatever matching salary you need to, and then you have those Suns picks and you have your picks. That's a pretty good package. And then you can run Mikal Bridges, who should have been in Philly originally, but they traded him on draft night. You'd have Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Joel Embiid. Like, that's a pretty damn good team with Joel Embiid there.
Yeah, definitely is. Brooklyn's definitely one guy away. If it is Embiid, he's going to be a force.
Now,
he's going to have a probably better number 2 than he has in Philly. Bridges.
You think Mikal Bridges is better than Harden?
Right now?
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think so. No.
I would rather have on your team.
In terms of money or in terms of just on the court?
Both.
I think Harden is the better player, but I would rather have Mikal Bridges for the future, obviously.
Well, even then, I think Mikal Bridges is going to get better. I think ever since he got to Brooklyn, he's balled out. And not that you're discounting that. Definitely not.
I know, but like Harden had a ridiculously good season this past year. He averaged 21, 6, and 11 on 44, 38 splits. Like, he was really good.
Yeah, but not in the playoffs.
And Mikal Bridges was?
Well, Bridges was the only guy on that team. He was the focal point of the entire defense.
I can't move here. Mikal Bridges is not better than James Harden. I think he could be in a year or two, but right now, no. There's no
I'd rather play with Bridges. He plays defense. That too.
You think Embiid on that Nets team would be better than the current Philly team?
I think yes.
Really?
I do.
That's nuts. I don't think so.
I think there's moving parts with the Nets team too. To put like a little bit of a
sure you move it around, but I'm saying if you
see the aging guards like moved out of there, there's still work to be done. And if Embiid goes there, that work gets done. You might not see the work get done this summer because they're in no rush.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. I had the Grizzlies on here, and my question mark is: would you trade Jaren Jackson Jr. for Joel Embiid?
See, I think you're less likely to do this than Bam.
I understand that, yeah.
If I'm Memphis, I would really try and keep Jaren Jackson in this situation.
you can't if you're trading for Embiid because you can't trade Bane because you just extended him.
Okay, yes. Correct.
I
I don't know.
that
This
too.
is a tough one. I guess why not? You have a better offensive player. Jaren Jackson is a foul machine as good as he is on defense. That's a problem too. Embiid's value is yet to be seen with the new flopping rule, though. One thing we're not taking into account.
You'd have Ja, Marcus, Desmond Bane, Joel Embiid,
Steven Adams. Yeah, they can
Brandon
just
Clark
stand next to each other across the paint.
That's a good team.
It is a good team.
Would you rather that or would you rather
Then I could root the hell out of Embiid. I could root for him all day.
Definitely. I have the Suns here. It's like half a joke. They
would do it if the opportunity presented itself. Matt Ishbia would be all in.
I don't actually know if they can financially. I don't think they have the money to match anymore.
I don't know, man. They just keep finding a way to add new dudes to the team. So
true.
I'm sure they'll find some way. On here, you have Ayton as the proposition. He makes a good chunk of change, in fairness to your hypothetical. I don't know if it gets done. I don't think Philly wants Ayton.
No.
I think they're just going to scrap if they're going to go away from Embiid in terms of the center position. They might want a Jalen. They might want, for the sake of this, Dame. If that was to present itself,
I think
Philly doesn't make
like
sense.
a Claxton thing makes sense if they want to swap out the center.
If you're giving up Embiid, you don't want another star center or a center that's meant to be a focal point of the offense.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because as much as Ayton isn't that with Phoenix, his game
is tailored to that. Yeah. Yes. I know what you mean. I have Pelicans with the Zion question mark here.
If I'm the Pelicans, I do it.
If you're Philly,
you have a solid team around Zion. He just can't get on the court. Like they've been moderately successful with Zion, like eating a bunch of food and playing half the games.
It would be CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones. I'm forgetting somebody, and Joel Embiid. Hey, that's pretty good. And my favorite, Joel Embiid destination, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
This is the winner, I think. Oddly enough, of all of these, because they have a zillion picks to use in OKC, which is what you have on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know if they can take them all. It's not beneficial to the Thunder to take all these picks. It's just not. They have to give them up. If they do make the picks, these players aren't going to have a chance to shine. The time is coming for an OKC blockbuster. It's going to happen. Whether
Embiid
it's now...
Shea? Hey,
that's what I mean. They have these guys. They're kind of getting there. They're almost ready. And when the time comes, when that front office feels like they are ready, it's going to happen. There's going to be a seismic trade probably after they make the playoffs outright without the play-in and either advance past the first round or put up a real good fight. And they're like, all right, one player away from being a real competitor, real favorite.
You know what's crazy, though? They have the money to match the contract now. Low key. They have Davis Bertans' contract, which they acquired from the Mavericks. They have Victor Oladipo's contract, who they acquired from the Heat. And then you can fill in the rest with some young pieces, right? Like you trade Rudy Gay's contract, which they acquired in another deal, right? And that right there is up to what? That's $31 million right there and 3 expiring nothing deals. On top of that, do you want Lou Dort? Sure, we'll throw in Lou Dort. That's fine. Or maybe you want Josh Giddey. Call me crazy, but we have Jalen Williams too. We'll give up maybe one of them. And then that's kind of it. All the picks. Throw the picks. Then you get maybe Lou Dort, maybe Josh Giddey, maybe Kenrich Williams, maybe Cason Wallace, the rookie. Whatever. Not all of them, but like an assortment of those players. And like what? 7 first-round picks, and that would like put a slight dent into the Thunder's draft cabinet. And then you can roll out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, or whoever you have left, and Chet Holmgren and Joel Embiid. You're nasty. They're
nasty. The ultimate 2K team. Sam Presti has done what everyone that plays my GM on 2K does, which is get the team, get every pick, and then just sit on them. Either make them or trade them away and package them for a star.
And for what it's worth, he hit this year again. Cason Wallace looks nasty. Like, it's nuts. He's huge. He's a giant. Like,
he can lift heavy
however
stuff.
tall he is. He is a big boy. Yes. All right. Let's rapid fire through some of the rest of these NBA stuff so we can get to the rat list. James Harden, more stuff, of course. Sixers want
Can
too
we
much.
have a weight check on James Harden?
This is from Kyle Newbeck of the Philly Voice. They're just saying basically the Sixers want way too much. They want an all-star level return if they trade Harden, which they're not going to get.
If you're a Philly fan, though, that's what you want to hear.
Yes, like exactly.
You can't deny it. If your team is dealing with one of these guys trying to force their way out, if you're the front office, you have to fight. You have to be like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, Philly is under no obligation to trade James Harden. Portland is under no obligation to trade Damian Lillard. They will, but they are under no obligation to do so. He's under contract for 4 or 5 seasons. Harden is under contract for next season. If he doesn't want to get paid, then sit out. If you don't want to play, then don't play.
I'm with it.
Or get fat and play and then just make them pay you.
Yeah, I'm with it. Next thing, Chad Finn, of the Boston Globe. Nothing is imminent now, but hearing there's a good chance that Doc Rivers and Doris Burke join Mike Breen on ESPN's top NBA broadcast team next season. So Doc Rivers
is Mark Jackson
enjoying his summer.
Too?
I think so. Mark Jackson. I'm not sure if Mark Jackson's there or not.
Jalen Rose gone. Jeff Van Gundy gone. I'm not positive on Mark.
I have no idea actually if he is there or not. So that's a question. But Doc Rivers, we talked about last podcast, enjoying his summer. Not
his
sure about coaching.
Name is still on ESPN's press room. He is still there.
Are you thinking of Mark Jones? I know Mark Jones did it with Doris. Are you talking about
No,
Jackson?
I'm talking about Mark Jackson, the hand down, man down, mama. There goes that man.
Yes,
him.
yes. Wait.
The I love LeBron more than anybody guy.
Oh, okay. I thought Mama There Goes That Man was Mark Jones.
No. Mark Jones is the guy that says all the super cool hip phrases.
Yes, I know. I like Mark Jones. I'm a fan of Mark Jones. I think he's cool.
He's better than a lot. I will say.
Thoughts on Doc joining ESPN though? Don't care.
No, Doc joining ESPN's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hear his gravelly voice on TV. Seriously, though, before Doc started coaching Orlando, then the Celtics, I'm pretty sure everyone says he was really great on TV. So this should be a good thing.
Good. That'd be fun.
Not that losing Van Gundy is a good thing because he's awesome too.
He's something. It's entertaining. Next NBA thing we have is I went up on the sheet. Oopsies. Mavs want to trade Christian Wood. To that I say, for what? What are you getting for Christian Wood? Christian Wood is unsigned for a reason. They want to sign and trade Christian Wood. Maybe there's a team out there who doesn't have the money to sign him, but all the reports indicated that he's only getting minimum contract offers. What does Dallas expect to get for a sign and trade for Christian Wood? Right?
Well, the Celtics got jack shit for Grant Williams, who's actually good. So
yeah,
I don't think they're getting a whole lot.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That was just weird to me to see the Mavs like saying, "Oh, we want to sign and trade Christian Wood. You know, we're open to this." And it could make sense if they're like making a bigger trade and they need salary matching, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Last thing, Dan LeBetard speaking about a Dame trade. Did you see this on Twitter?
I did, but I saw it for a different reason than it's on the show sheet. So go on.
Okay, so the reason I have here is Dan LeBetard said that Woj is bad. Agenda-based shilling. Yeah. Bought and paid for by Portland. It's embarrassing. And Woj is telling people it, whatever, for how long. This is the Heat's position. There's no calls going back and forth. The offer is Herro. And here he said Dan LeBetard thinks Herro is the best player they're going to get from anybody. And he's also said that Tyler Herro is better for Maxey. Now, my response is quick before you go. One, if Woj is shilling for the Blazers, then Sham is shilling for the Heat. Chris Haynes is shilling for the Heat. Literally stop acting like Woj is the only one doing this. Literally every other media
Chris Haynes is literally the biggest shill. You're right. Like and he's like, hey, this is my boy, and we're gonna put out the narrative because he's my boy. That's it.
It's crazy. Stop. Why are we talking shit on Woj as if a million people are doing this for the Heat?
Let's all calm down a minute and not act like Woj is an angel.
No, he is.
Woj is a rat. Make no mistake, Woj is a rat.
He's absolutely shilling for Portland. But let's
putting out. Oh, the refs have been so mean to Philly right before Game 7. Woj rat.
I agree. Mistake. And he is shilling for Portland, but acting like that's the wrong thing when literally everybody else isn't shilling for Miami is crazy. Second, is Tyler Herro the best player they get for Dame? Maybe. Is he better than Maxey? What are we doing? And I assume the thing
Kevin
you saw
Durant doesn't think so.
This is true. Kevin Durant tweeted. Is that what you saw? Or you saw something else?
That's what I was going to bring up. Is Kevin Durant was like, he said what?
Yeah. Now, I think they're the same like tier of player. I'd probably go Maxey over Herro.
I'd say so.
This is just like if Woj is shilling for Portland and Dan LeBetard is shilling for Miami. This is crazy. This is nuts. What are we doing here? Stop. Like, come on. I'm so sick of this shit. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I'm over it. I mean, LeBetard's a Heat guy. Good for him.
Yep.
If this was a Celtics situation, I have the same angle. I'd be like, F Woj, he's a rat. This is a quote from him. There's no calls going back and forth. The offer is Herro, and Herro is the best one you're going to get from anybody. Don't know about that one, Chief. Your Boston Lillard wants to be with Miami. Don't care. I'm sending him wherever the hell I want, dude. Don't care. But yeah, I'm sick of it too. I hope it goes on forever just because I don't want to see Dame get his way by acting like this. Even though the whole Dame thing is weird because Dame will go on Instagram Live and just take on people.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the media posturing, whether it's Woj for Portland or Chris Haynes and Shams for Lillard, going on is exhausting.
It's very annoying. I'm over it. And speaking of it, we can put it on the rat list because we're going to get into the rat list. We're done with the NBA. I don't want to talk about Dame anymore. So we're going to get right into the rat list. Oh, I had Cam Whitmore Summer League MVP. And just because I thought Cam Whitmore being MVP was funny because we literally saw him drop to 20 in the draft.
Yeah, he dropped to 20 and Houston got 2 of the top 10 list guys that we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
And the debate was, hey, do we want to take one of the Thompson twins or Cam Whitmore? And then they ended up getting both.
Yeah, and we'll put all those other teams on the rat list for not taking Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore had a ridiculous summer league. But what did he average in summer league? Sorry, I'm curious. He averaged 20 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.4, and he averaged 3 steals a game. Nuts. Anyways, rat list. I'll start with this. So this is less of a rat list and more of a question. And Sam and I talked about this before the show. I think we're just going to treat rat list as us talking shit. It'll still be the rat list, but this is the only place I have to just talk about random stuff. So I went golfing today and I asked this question to Henry. This is completely random and you're going to be thrown off, but it's just something that popped in my head that I've seen somewhere. And it's kind of gross, but we're going to talk about it anyways. The question is, if you had the option of eating, so we'll use the context of a Hershey bar, right? You know a Hershey bar with all the sections, right? If you had the Hershey bar and it looked like poop, shit. It looked like shit, right? Like actual shit. And it smelled like it. The texture was it, but it tasted like chocolate. Everything about it was shit, but it tasted like chocolate. Or you had one of the tiny squares and everything about it was chocolate, but it tasted like shit. Which would you rather eat?
I don't know.
Sam is dazed. This is a good question.
What is this?
It's just something random that I thought of that I've seen on
terrible
other stuff. What do you mean it's terrible? It's a question.
This question is on the rat list.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
The first one, because it doesn't taste like it, I guess.
So you'd have to get over that like mental hump of like the smell and the texture and the
you just
visual.
put it in your mouth really fast.
Okay.
You have the taste in your mouth. You probably vomit. You might vomit the first way too.
I've just seen this like on the internet and I asked Henry.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was
like,
interesting.
what is going on?
No. This isn't like something random. I've like seen it places and I thought it was interesting, but I'll just go fuck myself. That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Speaking of, I guess my stomach, it's been in pain all day. Just terrible.
Yeah.
And my overall mood as of late has just been ratless too. Like I've told inanimate objects to fuck off like a record amount of times over the last couple of weeks. At least once a day. Like I'm just like, oh, fuck off. Just to whatever thing it may be. It's terrible.
It's brutal. I'll rat list the Heat. Heat was tough today. I went golfing and it's not like we scheduled golfing for last Monday, like last week, but it got rained out. So we just rain checked and came today, but it rained yesterday. And so not only was it super hot out, but it was muggy and the course was terrible. Like the course was just soaked. So it was just a terrible day for golf. I didn't play well. Henry played all right. just rat list the weather. The weather's been so shitty lately. There was like a tornado warning yesterday.
Yeah.
There was torrential downpours, and now it's like 90 degrees. Like, make up your mind. What are we doing here? Come
That
on.
might have been the hardest rain I've ever seen yesterday.
It was crazy. It was a lot.
We wrapped up our men's league game in which we got pummeled, and my buddy Worth and I were looking like to leave the gym, and he opens the door and it's just coming down, and he's in Crocs.
Legend.
So he didn't want to go to his car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, I don't get it. Like, let's just run. And he was like, well, I'm in Crocs. I was like, oh, shit. So I put on my hero shoes. I ran out. I stormed across the parking lot to my car, and I gave him a ride to his car.
Legend.
So anti-rat list me, rat list the rain.
Big time.
Also rat list LeBron, because, again, this week he just had to be the center of attention again. Hey, remember me, I'm not retiring. After he, like, did the worst pump fake of all time after they got swept against the Nuggets and was like, hey, I might retire. Please don't talk about my team getting swept.
No way.
And then he was like, oh, you guys, just in case anybody was worried, I'm not retiring. Classic LeBron move. This is why I don't like him, by the way.
I know you don't. Well, you mentioned the weather. This is very random, and it's like super old. Like, this happened in the winter. You mentioned like that's the hardest rain you've ever experienced, right?
Correct.
Do you remember that one day in the winter? Like, we had a relatively warm winter, I would say, right? Like, it wasn't too bad. There was one day where it was just like obscenely cold, and there was a Celtics game that night, and I went into Boston.
Oh no, that's even worse.
It was genuinely, I think, the coldest I
do remember this
ever
day,
been.
actually.
You know,
of course, we did a show.
Mm-hmm. It was genuinely the coldest it has ever been outside in my life, and I didn't even have to walk that far. Like, I walked from the Garden across the street to North Station. That was the most miserable 60-second walk. Like, it was indescribably cold. It was crazy. I got back to Quincy Adams. The walk from the train to my car, like, I swear you could have poured boiling water out and it would have frozen. It was nuts. Anyways, I just thought of that randomly when we were talking about the weather. I see the rest of your rat list, and I think it's funny, so I'll let you go.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Run it.
I've been on Twitter, of course.
Yep.
And there's this video going around on Twitter where a plane is delayed, a plane is having to circle before it lands.
Sure.
Something along the lines of a bunch of people are stuck on a plane.
Are they in the air or are they on the ground still?
That I'm pretty sure they're in the air.
Okay.
Which is not a situation that anybody wants to be in anyway, with no added context. Except in this situation, the entire plane is doing a sing-along to Taylor Swift songs as loud as they possibly can. So if you are not in on this, you are trapped in a gigantic metal tube with a bunch of people who are singing, many of them probably not very good at it.
I see the video right now. Okay, so they are singing Love Story by Taylor Swift. Great song. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm not a Swiftie. I enjoy the music.
To the concert.
I did.
Well, you either are or you're not.
No.
You're either a Swiftie or you don't care.
No, wrong. I can enjoy her music without being crazy. Come on. Give me a break. Cut that.
I'm trying to put you in a corner.
I know. You can enjoy the music without being crazy.
If we're doing a round up, round down, where do you lie?
I'd round down. I'm not that crazy. Okay. I like the music. There's like how many? There's like a handful of songs that I enjoy that I have on the playlist that are good, etc. Okay. Whatever. However, if I was on that plane, I'd jump out. I love that song, but that is terrible. That is absolutely you. I saw a tweet about this on Twitter. There was like Mark Schindler, who writes for the WNBA. Funny guy. I enjoy his tweets. He tweeted like something like, "Oh, it's open seating on a plane," and someone said like, "Oh, like, you know, imagine having to turn next to this," and they made some joke. And Mark's like, "Imagine not having your headphones in at the airport." I am a headphones on man. I don't want to talk to people I don't know. I'm on. So if that happened on a plane, I was on tears. Terrible. It's like and the point you made about it was perfect. Like, I like that song. I'll sing that song. The fact that those who don't are trapped, forced to listen to it is nuts. That's like, that's borderline, not even borderline. That's unacceptable behavior by the people. Like, I'm watching this video, right? I found it. Just search Taylor Swift playing on Twitter and you'll find it. Like, people are calling it nightmare fuel. People are retweeting the video. Delayed flight full of Swifties to Salt Lake City on the way back from Denver right now. This is an insane amount of people who have joined this sing along and are now singing Taylor Swift. I am there are so many news stories about it. It's a unacceptable. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad. Like, that's called the airline and ask for my money back. Because whatever happened on that plane for them to be stuck is the airline's fault. Probably.
Yeah, that's bad. No, like I said, I like the song. I'm fine with Taylor Swift music. If I'm forced to listen to a sing along with, like you said, people who probably aren't that adept at singing, not great, not fun.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, last one.
Mhm.
Kind of rat list, but this rat list. Mom at the supermarket, not my mom. Not my mom, to clarify.
Okay.
I'm at the supermarket today, and I'm walking down the aisle, and I encounter a scene as if it was written by a group of comedy writers who definitely didn't write it because they're on strike.
Is this a Karen?
No,
Okay.
it's not a Karen. It is a very large woman with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
The woman is on an electric scooter. Like,
Sure.
that's how big she is, right?
Sure.
And they are in an aisle. I'm looking for candy.
Okay.
They are in the aisle, and they are doing their food shopping. And the daughter must have been asked, "Do you want this thing?" and said no.
Okay.
Or no. I'm sorry. The mom was buying herself a snack, and the daughter reacted by saying "ew," as if the daughter's not like this food item. So then the mother says to the daughter, "I better not see your lips on my snacks after this." And then powers by me on the scooter. And then I said, "Where are the cameras?"
Why is that rat list? That's awesome. I love that.
Because I just wanted to tell the story. Why was your stupid
I'm
chocolate
glad you
thing on the
did.
rat list?
I'm glad. Sure, fair. No, I'm glad. I better
We both
not
got one today. There you go.
I better not see your lips on this later. That's such a weird way to phrase it.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, that was the premise of it. It was that.
Oh, it's
I
great.
immediately
You know what?
sent it to my group chat because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe
Have
I just
you
saw
seen?
this.
You're not on TikTok, but you're on
I'm not.
I wonder if you've seen clips. Do you know the podcast, The Basement Yard?
No.
Yeah, they're two guys. They're funny, whatever. And there's this viral clip, and I thought of this podcast. And it's one of them talking about something, and the other guy goes, "Oh, speaking of this," and the guy who was talking just goes, "Your turn. No, you go. Why don't you just talk?" And I just think of all the times that we're like transitioning, and the other person just starts talking shit. I'll send you the clip after. It was funny, but okay, we can wrap up. Good rat list. Good.
Little note: people, I
stuff.
think it's easier to start a podcast than it actually is.
Oh yeah, it's
Like, we're just having a little bit of success now, and we've been doing this for over 3 years.
yeah, right.
Not to say that if you have interest in this field, you shouldn't do this, because it's
Definitely
very
do it.
important to do it. But don't think it's easy. Don't expect to put your video up and get 1 million views, because it just doesn't happen.
I do think it's easier with TikTok now. I think we've tried TikTok. I think it's less successful for a podcast like this because it's such a niche market. Like the podcast I'm
Yes.
referencing, like they just talk random shit, and that's like everybody can relate to it, and so like it's easily viral. Like we've had some success on social media, and obviously YouTube, I think, is the reason we've had a lot of success because it's like people searching the Celtics on Google or whatever will be fed into that. But yeah, man, what a grind this is.
But it's fun.
I
Make
love
no
it.
mistake.
No
Jack and I would not
complaints.
be doing this if we didn't like it.
Of
Very
course. I mean, for the first year or so, we did it just because we liked
Yeah,
it.
we're doing it because it was fun.
Oh, man. December 29th will be 4 years, I think. It's crazy
Wow.
for the pod. Nuts. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all very much. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We're very close to 2,000 subscribers. Let me take a
We
look.
should have a subscriber counter on the graphic.
We should.
Not the thumbnail, but when we're on the screen.
Oh, we should. That's a good idea for
Next time.
Yes. We have 952 current subscribers, which is crazy. And our latest video hit 1,000, so the streak lives.
Oh, it did. All right.
Big time. we're on a streak.
Sure.
We're trying to keep it up. We got a little scared, but thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you very much. Subscribe at How About Them Celtics. Leave us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify, and leave a comment. Like we always say, my favorite part of the day. I wake up and I see those notifications. I enjoy reading, but thank y'all for tuning in. I'll let Sam take us out.
Hey, yes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, join 952 others, and hit the notification bell. Make sure you don't miss any new breaking videos that we may put out, because when news happens, we do put them out, i.e. the J Scrub signing where I was in the back of the car and Jack was in the middle of his brother's graduation party. We hopped on, did the video, pumped it out, and we got it up for you. So make sure you don't miss those things, as well as our daily uploads at 5 a.m. coming right at you. We'll be there for you as I try and speak. If you're on listening, Spotify, Apple, make sure you follow us, leave a 5-star rating, leave us a nice review. You can follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is just the name of the pod. The rest is at How About Them C's. You can follow Jack on Twitter at Jack Simone NBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on. Taco.